Okay. Thank you for everyone coming. This room is so crowded. I'm just kidding. If you talk to 10 buyers, 2 are going to buy from you, regardless of how good you are or bad you are at selling. Now, out of those 10 buyers that you talk to, 2 are going to say no, regardless of how good or bad you are at selling. The middle 6, the ones that are left, will only buy from you based on your ability to sell. Now, I've done this talk many, many years, and when people are honest and asking questions, they say, Troy, I talk to 10 people all the time, 2 are not buying. I've heard that more so than not. But the caveat is, I didn't say people, I said buyers. And that's the disconnect, is we talk to people all the time. We don't know if they're a buyer. I asked each one of you, what was your expectation? And you told me. Well, now I have an edge in the way I'm presenting my presentation, and that's really the buyer's journey, is better understanding who you're talking to and then having a catalog of stories that you put into each space of where they're at in that buyer's journey. So for today, we're going to talk about what each stop is. Now, I did not coin the phrase the buyer's journey. It's from the book, The Sales Accelerator. Does anyone use HubSpot? Does anyone know about HubSpot? Okay. Fantastic CRM. Their free version I've used with Boom Video for since 2018 and have never had to purchase it. So the founder of HubSpot wrote a book, and in the book he described the buyer's journey. But he just used it in describing the buyer's journey. He did not go into what it was or what the stages were. So I'm a film guy. Have you heard of the hero's journey in film? No? So have you seen Star Wars? Have you watched the movie Star Wars? Oh, okay. You remember Luke Skywalker, right? Okay, Luke Skywalker in the first episode, which was actually episode 4, right? A New Hope. He was living on Tatooine, right? Just minding his own business. And then what happens? He gets this robot that says, very beautiful girl, finds out later it's his sister. It says, I need help, Obi-Wan. So he goes to who? Remember Obi-Wan Kenobi? You're killing me on this hero's journey. Anyway, I took the hero's journey, I took the Sales Accelerator buyer's journey, and I kind of put them together in what I call the buyer's journey and the stages in the buyer's journey. And I want to. You guys have how long have you been in sales, Jax? Really? So you're new. Okay, I love it. I love it. I love your energy. Great energy. You guys are seasoned, right? You're more biz dev, but you still get it. You understand the importance of closing a deal. And in my experience in sales, activity is king. But like have you ever heard when the boss says, hey, how'd that meeting go? Oh, it went great. Rapport was fantastic. We had a connection. Have you ever heard that? Even in your year? You've said it, right? Yet those deals don't close. And it hit me when I'm going to tell you a story. I have a client that is a global brand, and I do video for this global brand, and they have 4 languages: English, Russian, French, and Spanish. I speak English. That's it, right? So when I interview I interviewed the Russian group. It's called Ambassador Stories, and I interview them, and they tell me how they got to become an ambassador. Ambassadors make between 10 and 50 grand a month, right? So it's these cats are like very, very good looking and very, very rich, right, in what they do. So I'll ask them questions, and this one lady who speaks Russian, she understood it, a little English, so I could ask the question in English. Otherwise, I got to go to Google Translate. I'm not kidding. I got to speak in it. I got to say it. And then they answer the question. Editing is a nightmare, but I enjoy it. editing in Russian. Anyway, I'm asking this question, and she's answering it to me in Russian. And we're capturing the video. And at the end, she goes, I didn't know you knew Russian. I said, I don't know Russian. And she goes, but you're nodding your head and you're in agreement with me on everything I say. And I say, yeah, because your energy, I feel your energy. It's great. That's sometimes the way it is in our sales process. We are speaking a language and they're like this. Oh yeah, I'm jiving. And they have no idea what you're talking about. But the connection is there. You built the rapport and they have no idea what you're talking about. So instead of pitching, you're going to tell a story interjected with questions that's going to get them to open up. And now you've got an understanding of where they're at. So you can now, well, first off, Annie, you might realize your solution doesn't fit for them. So you say, you know what, I'm not a good fit for you. Right? And that's okay. That's absolutely okay. Someone told me, well, Troy, this sounds very manipulative. My response is, describe for me the difference between manipulation and persuasion. Anybody want to try? The difference between manipulation and persuasion. Close, yeah, in my opinion. I'll just tell you, I believe the difference is the intent of the person that is administering the strategy. The strategy is the same. If you want to go start a cult and you're a manipulative little creep, we all know those guys, right? They're using the same techniques as those that are persuading someone to go through this journey. So the first step, you guys got your notes? You ready to take notes? I was going to bring a paper, but I didn't. The first step in the buyer's journey is unaware. In the unaware stage, let me look at my notes. In the unaware stage, your audience does not know that there is a problem. So you were, Jax, you were talking about kind of what you do in the latest, the Gemini, right, results, right? So I would imagine that you're meeting a lot of people that are unaware of that. They just don't know, right? And Annie does digital marketing as well. So she's meeting people all the time that are unaware of the value of whatever it is that they do. Christina's in architectural green architecture is her clients, and you're going to still find people that are just unaware of the benefits to what you do, right? All the time, right? So it's easy to understand, and if you were to go to, because a lot of times when you're talking to someone and you realize you're unaware, that's the easiest part of this, right? You're like, oh, they just don't know. You get excited because you want to take them and give your pitch and then close them because you really know more than they do. And it's like, take my hand, let's go. But have you ever been on a date where the person on the other side is quite good looking, and you feel in the vibes, and you feel that they're kind of into you, right? Have anyone ever experienced this? And then you go too fast, too soon, and then it turns into cringe. That's what, if you're going to pitch someone in the unaware stage, it's going to get cringy very, very fast. So you don't want to do that. You want to recognize where they're at and start with your curious discovery. You're observing over presenting a solution. And really at this stage, and I hope I didn't mislead anyone, in this workshop today, we're not going to go deep into the how. I tell stories in the unaware stage. Does that make sense? The next workshop is paired with this one, and that goes into more of the how. It's titled "Don't Be a Son of a Pitch," and that goes into more of the how. But the first stage in the buyer's journey is just they just don't know. They're just unaware of what's going on. So you do not want to offer logic. You want to stay emotional, and you want to have a story. So, for example, not knowing Gemini, right? You meet someone that is a business owner, and you realize that they're unaware. Instead of telling them, yo, you need to know about this, let me tell you the benefits of this. You tell a story. You know what? There was this company that I was working with, and they had no idea what had transpired over the course of the last 6 months with Google, and what happened with Google. And then you go into the steps that you took, but you describe it from the perspective of that person that you helped, rather than this is what we did. Does that make sense? It's a fine line of the story versus the presentation or the pitch. Now, anybody want to guess what the next stage is? They're aware. Now they know. I'm aware. I was unaware, and now I am aware. There is no urgency in this stage. None whatsoever. They're aware. I'm aware that my website, troyritchie.com, is awful, and I'm going to launch a podcast, and people are going to go to my podcast. They're going to Google me. They're going to land on my website. They're not going to land on Boom Video. They're going to land on troyritchie.com, and it looks like I made it. I am aware that it is not as good. I'm also aware that I might lose an opportunity. I don't care at this stage of that part of my business because the focus is on Boom Video, right? So you're going to meet a lot of people that are in this stage and they're pretty comfortable. You think about want versus need. This is where they think about that in that stage. So to get from unaware to aware is a compelling, usually emotionally driven story that you have, well, hopefully you have more than one, that you have back pocketed based on experience that you've experienced to tell that story. When they're in the unaware stage, you want to dictate, not dictate, it's the wrong word. You want to understand how close they are to the next stage. Anyone want to guess what the next stage is? Pain. Pain is where you are, your discovery questions, open-ended, start with who, what, when, or how to really understand, because there's a range, I call it the range of pain. And the range of pain starts little inconvenience, right? So I was unaware that I need to lose weight. One of my buddies at basketball, busting my balls, says, dude, stop eating the donuts, man. I'm like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Now I'm aware that people think I'm overweight. So I go home. Hey, wife, am I overweight? No, you could. That's all connected. You could lose a few pounds, right? So I'm aware now, but it's not anything to do. It's more of an inconvenience. So the issue is noticeable, but it's okay, right? Does anyone recognize anyone in this stage, in this part of the spectrum, where you're kind of like, I can help you, I can really, really help you, but you just are you're chilling in the midst of this. That's because it's just an inconvenience. The cost of change, they're still determining. I'll tell you another story, right? Picture this. You don't have to close your eyes. Picture this. You're in a car. It's 2 a.m. You're by yourself. And you're driving down a long, dark road. On each side of the road, it's a single lane road, one side. The other side is, it's fall or winter, so there's leafless trees, okay? And it's a full moon. So it's a lot of light, but it's not the good kind of light, right? And you're driving down, and you are at 0 miles left for gas. You know those kind of cars that tell you? And you are stressing. Maybe you pray, maybe you don't. But all of a sudden you see a light at the corner. It's a gas station. And you pull up. It's $9.89 a gallon. Do you care? Not at all, right? Guy comes out. Squirrely looking dude. I so want to do a short film on this. Squirrely looking dude. And you're sitting in your car and it's full service. So they're going to put the gas in for you. And the squirrely dude knocks on the window and says, hey, your tires are really bad. I know it's 2 a.m, but we can get this replaced for you. and it's only going to be, and he gives you the cost of the tire, right? Now, what are you thinking? Just give me the gas. What else? Is he really trying to upsell me on something? And do I really need a new tire? Like but with the gas, you didn't care who it was. You wanted to get what you need to get. So as they're in this range of pain, that's kind of how they're psychologically making decisions based on it. If they know that they need to get gas in for whatever service that you got, and you happen to meet them, hot dog, you got your one of two out of the 10 buyers. You got them. There's no selling needed. You're essentially taking an order. You're no longer selling, right? So the next in this spectrum, you're still in the pain stage, but now it's irritating. So I got to get new pants, right? Because I'm going back to the weight where I'm in this, I am aware, and now I'm inconvenient, and now it's like, so now the issue keeps repeating. Your awareness increases, your emotional responses begin, still kind of mild, right? You're not ready, you're not at the gas station, and you're not dying there. The problem starts to feel familiar rather than a random occurrence within this, right? So you're inconvenienced. You just like, oh, why does this keep happening? Is a common thing. And then, and just so you know, okay, for stock, it's so hard to get the balance of men and women. These were just the best images. They happen to be women. I don't know what it is. I can't tell you. Please don't judge me because I tried and tried and tried. But this is now starting to consume energy when you're in this part of the range of pain. It's aggravating. The tolerance decreases. You're starting to get more frustrated. So have you ever kind of coworkers, you walk into their office and then you're like, oh, and you walk out because you can feel their energy? You're like, they're aggravated. They're like, oh. And the problem begins to affect focus or performance. So they might be saying, this is wearing me down. Now, wouldn't you love for a prospect to say those words in whatever it is that you're involved with selling? It's wearing me down. Buying sign, right? You know exactly. Well, how do you get them to say, this is wearing me down? That's where story, question, story, that's that whole component of inner matching. And I know we're not going to talk about how to do that. That's the next course again, so I apologize. But the next stage, misery. We got a guy, finally, yes. Misery. The issue impacts the quality of life, right? Or outcomes. So I've got a goal. I'm trying to get to that goal. I'm not getting to the goal because of the problem that I'm currently experiencing. The stress spreads into other people that they're associated with. And, you know, part of my opening line is when I talk about Boom Video, because I typically help folks that are small business, solopreneurs, or less than 10, right? We're growing out of that, but usually it's less than 10. And I will ask, how is the problem that you're involved in impacting your personal life? How is it impacting your family? Are you financially broke and emotionally broke? Like, those are questions that I can ask because of the size of the companies that I work with. But understanding, and again, that's where the manipulative, like when someone's asking questions about, hey, how's this impacting your family? That can sound manipulative. So you have to genuinely be curious to know and understand how it is impacting their personal life. Like, how you doing, man? It has to be genuine. If it's inauthentic, then you're really turning into that slimy sales people that we don't like, right? At the car lot. The avoidance, because they still believe, when they're at this part of the end of the range of pain, they still believe they can get it done without your help. They like you. They understand that you're trying to do your job, but they want to figure it out, right? That's where they're at until the torture part of the range of pain. This part, it is, the urgency is internal. Okay, now I got to get something done, and I'll share another story. I'm doing a podcast. I've done podcasting. I did 1,000 episodes from 2018 to 2022. It was a daily podcast. I got burned out. After Charlie Kirk, I was like, you know what? I got to get back behind the mic. I want to talk about, what I want to talk about, and what I'm passionate about is uh, helping people move an audience. Right? I'm religious. I'm not a religious. I'm not a preacher. Right? So that's for me. But I see so many people that they don't understand how to move an audience or encourage an audience, going from business leaders to sales to coaches to they practice their pitch and they deliver it, right? So we have better equipment now than what I used to do, which was on my phone, and so I recorded 3 episodes the other day. I'm sorry, 3 or 4 weeks. December we recorded 3 episodes, and was going to launch some podcasts the first week of January. Things came up, kept up. Haven't published the first podcast yet, and February is when? 3 days, 4 days in February. So I'm at this stage, and I'm getting ready to edit it. And as I'm editing it, we have other editors overseas that edit our clients' video. I do edit, and so I'm sitting down trying to edit myself, and I'm judging myself. My hair is so bad. It's the first episode. I finally say, I'm not going to do it. We can't afford it, but I'm going to have my editor do it for me. She edited it, and I was like, that looks pretty good. Make these changes, these changes, these changes. She's doing these changes, and then we're going to finally publish it. But I'm going to invest money I don't have because it's a better product. That's where I'm at. I'll deal with the rest of it later. And that's where, when you find someone, because once they hit this stage, they review. So I am, go back to, I'm gaining weight, and my buddies notice, my wife notices, and then I have really bad heartburn, right? This is all fiction, by the way. I have really bad heartburn, and I end up going to the doctor. The doctor goes, that wasn't a heartburn, man. That was a health scare. Like, you need to really, lower your sodium or whatever it is. The doctor shares that with me, and now I'm reviewing my options. So am I going to do keto? Am I going to become a vegan? There's a lot that we can choose from. Either way, I'm reviewing them. And then once I have reviewed my options, I can now act upon them. Now, this is important in where you're at. Even if you're in a sales part of your role, or if it's something else that's not transactional, where you're exchanging money for services or product, you want a yes or no. Isn't it the most infuriating when you don't know? Who likes to be ghosted, right? And how many times are you ghosted in sales? All the time. Wouldn't you rather get a no? You're right. I can tell you a tip: 99% response rate. If you have already established, like, it doesn't work on a cold outbound, but if you met with someone, you talked to someone, and they're just not getting back to you, this was worked for me 99.9% of the time. I'm gonna tell you.
No, I think
You send an email, and in the subject line, third request, second request, whatever the request number is, right? That's a trigger. And when they open it, you say, hey, whatever the person's name is, I'm a little surprised that I haven't heard from you. Based on our last conversation, I would have thought you would have let me know by this time. As a professional courtesy, could you please let me know which direction you plan on taking? Guarantee they'll get back to you. Now, most of the time you'll lose that deal. But the question is, would you have ever gotten it, right? But when you start throwing in professional courtesy, usually you're right. I'm going to get back to you. Hey, man, it's not going to work out, or whatever it is, because they don't want to let you down, and you're like, just tell me an answer. But to get them to that act stage. So when you're in the in the review stage, so between review and act, I didn't put a slide there, but there's a very important component to this journey. From unaware to aware and from review to act, there are two in-betweens, and they're both emotional. Between unaware and aware, it's an emotionally driven story that usually kind of go, oh, wow, like now they're aware, right? From review to act, it's usually an external relationship, which is emotional, that could influence, right? So have you ever had you guys work with small businesses, like really small businesses? Mom and pop, husband and wife? Have you ever been told, yeah, I like it, man, my wife said no, or I like it, but my husband said no? Have you ever experienced that? Right? Yeah. Well, do you believe them? Like they could be true. It could be true. My experience, if you don't loop them in early in that same process that you're in, that's where you're going to get hung up on. So between review, because when people are reviewing their options, they like to know what? Hey, what do you think? I do it all the time. Do you guys do that? When you're reviewing options or what you need to do, hey, what do you think about this? So that connection earlier, obviously in the buyer's journey, you want to establish yourself as a trusted, you want to be Obi-Wan Kenobi to them. So as a trusted advisor where they're trusting you more than the external influence that they may have within their family.